Hi everybody, Monica Bodierski here, artist and author of the Shadowland Tarot and the House of Shadows Lenormand Oracle. I want to start right away by thanking you all for your incredible reaction to my limited edition, and it is the 4th edition, deck, the House of Shadows Lenormand. I'm genuinely overwhelmed by the response. I've just been busy all week filling orders. Thank you so much for your support. There still are some decks, but no exaggeration or sales pitch. They actually are going fast. I sold out of the bags. I only had 25 of those and I sold out of them right away, but I am getting Leanne Shea Rem of Golden Ginger Studios in Picton, Ontario to make another small batch. So if you missed out on the bags, they will be coming back probably in about a month or so. It takes a little while to order the fabric, which is the signature bat print, and for her to make them. But check back, and of course you know I'll tell you. Okay, so what would I like to talk about today? I would love to share a method that some of you may have heard of, some of you may use if you're tarot readers, if you've been reading tarot for a while. Others may never have heard of this particular technique. So I'd like to share it. It's kind of a linear way of reading, and when you're stuck with the meaning of a card, without necessarily using the book, but using the other cards. So for the purposes of this demo, I am using the Shadowland Tarot. Yes, I am. And I am going to be using the swords. I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, oh, not the swords, because they can be a little scary in, well, they may still be known that way, but quite a long time ago, actually, swords were known as the spookiest suit of tarot. And I think to a certain extent they still are, mostly thanks to that famous Rider-Waite-Smith image for the Ten of Swords, which is, you know, a whole lot of things stuck in someone's back end or front swords. In mine, it is 10 pins. There's this little poppet slumped over with the 10 pins, so I guess it's not that different in my deck. Are they scary? No, not necessarily scary at all, because it depends on the situation. Let's be frank here, or whatever your name may be. Maybe you want something to end. Maybe that's a really good thing. Maybe you're going, thank goodness it's over, or you get confirmation that something is over that you had a feeling was. Okay, well, that sounds pretty straightforward. I was teaching the 3-evening tarot intensive last week, and somebody asked a very good question after I explained the sort of linear method of reading, moving forwards and backwards within a particular suit in tarot, that maybe I could share that. And so here we are. Oh, and by the way, if you missed that tarot intensive, there is another 3-evening intensive available on my website. You can just sign up for that and register there in the shopping area. That's happening September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, in case you missed the first intensive. That will probably be the last tarot intensive I do for a little bit, because I gotta get back to making art, people. Okay, so let's look at your swords. Now you can apply this to any suit you want, any of the 4 suits, and it is common within the major arcana to call it the Fool's Journey, or the Seeker's Journey if you prefer. And you can see it as a linear progression. It is very much like the hero's journey in classical Greek myth and writing. And it's kind of understood that you start off at the 0 and you end up at the world, okay? You've expanded your entire mind and now you know how you fit in. You can see that very linear journey. I think some people don't really apply that, though, to the minor arcana, and I do, and I'd like to share it with you. So let's just say, and yes, for the purposes of this demo, you might want to sort out your cards and just work with one of the suits, okay? As I said, I've got the swords here. So pull one of your swords, okay? Let's say this coming week, what is the lesson I need to know? All right, I'm not going to look. I'm going to pull out one of the swords. It is the Two of Swords, okay? The Two of Swords is this vampire with the two stakes and with his arms crossed on his chest here. And generally it's a truce, a timeout. You can see that his eyes are covered. It's almost like that. Justice is blind. You want an impartial judgment here, so maybe you're taking a little time out. If I were to look at that and say, okay, well, how did I get here? Like, what, I don't know. I just don't know what to do with this, okay? Which is common with tarot cards. They can be baffling. It can be kind of vague and ambiguous, and you're looking for something a little bit more. You're looking for context. So let's just say, well, that's the Two of Swords. So how do we get there? How do we get to that space? Well, let's pull out the card before it, the Ace of Swords. Well, the Ace of Swords is the preceding card, and it says you need to make a decision. You need to think about it and decide to do something. You need to think about this and say, this is what I'm doing. So what that's saying is, you may be at a place of indecision because you didn't make a decision to begin with. Okay, maybe that's fairly clear. Oh, let's try this with another card. They're so much fun. All right. And this one is the Four of Swords. Okay, the Four of Swords is that really tired-looking skeleton hanging out in a hammock trying to rest up. And the Four of Swords is being mentally exhausted. It is, wow, I am so tired. I'm just going to take a time out here. Also, what brought me to this space? Or maybe what should I look at? Why am I so tired? Is there a reason for that? Other than all the insane amount of work I do daily. Let's look. Well, let's find the Three of Swords for some advice here. Oh, we know the Three of Swords. Remember this dude? The, hey, I'm really okay, even though I have three sharp things jammed through my heart. I'm cool. It's all right. It's okay. I can deal. Maybe a little bit of denial of your feelings being torn between your head and your heart, because that's also what this symbolizes, has put you in a place of exhaustion. And you're saying, oh, well, yeah, but, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll just ignore that entirely. Well, you know what's interesting is if you go up a card to the Five of Swords, which is this kind of not so generous crow taking all the corn and leaving the other crows out in the field going, ha, why'd you take all the corn? You know, if you don't rest up mentally, it might get you to start seeing things in terms of serious black and white. There are winners or losers. That's all there is to life. Ooh, cynical. Ah, okay. Not so nice. You want to try another? I know you do. Okay. I'm going to pull them. Really, I am not looking at these, if you ever wonder. And no, you know I'm doing this off the cuff here because I like doing stuff in one take, you know. Editing just bogs me down. Okay. And I got the Ace of Swords. Of course I did, because there's nothing before it. Well, then what do I do? What do I do? Make a decision. Okay, well, I think we were here before. Well, then the Two of Cards says, not so fast. Before you make that choice, maybe you better just think about things a little. Oh, let's keep going. You know, let's assess what's in our hearts and what's in our heads here. And if we're being upfront and honest about that, you know, are we too mentally exhausted to get going on this at the moment? Oh, I'm on a roll. Don't stop me. Where are you, 6? Oh, no, 5. All right. And the 5. Otherwise, it could lead to some horrible black and white thinking. You know that. It's true. And then how are we going to make that journey that we need to make to move forward? Because, well, I guess we have to strategize about that. We need to think it over. We really do need to strategize about our next move. Otherwise, we're going to feel stuck and trapped, says the 8. And we know where that goes. That's right, nightmares. It leads to nightmares. Ah, I shouldn't have just sort of ignored the whole situation, because now I'm done. Done. You hear me? I'm finished. But I'm also beginning again because I just can't go any further. So, not necessarily negative, although I can't imagine that sounded really cheery. However, when you're looking for clarity in things that you're thinking or perceiving, you want to know if you're correct. Don't be afraid of the swords. They're a wonderful suit for helping you with perception and clarity. And yes, sometimes they're a little blunt because maybe you're living in a dream world that is harming you. It's not actually providing a safe, cozy space. It's stopping you from achieving your dreams because it's creating so much fear you can't move forward. Okay, doesn't that sound better? Yes, I love you, swords. Okay, folks, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much once again for all of your support. You know where to find me. I'm all over the place. You just have to spell my name correctly. It's Bodirski, Bodirsky, and I will leave links below. Have yourselves a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.